The story of Noah contains a couple of verses about how the world had become corrupt, which in Hebrew uses the word hashchata. Genesis chapter 6 verse 11 states, "And the earth had become corrupt before God, and the earth had become filled with robbery. And God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupted, for all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth." The word here used in the Torah of to be corrupted, of lashchit, is the same word which is used in the book of Deuteronomy for an ecological commandment about not cutting down fruit trees in war. That ecological commandment is understood by the rabbis to be a much bigger prohibition against wasting or destroying anything of value to humans. And the language of corruption or destruction or wasting is first introduced here in the story of Noah. It's interesting because that language is used in relation to the earth, that the earth had become corrupt before God, but it's really about people's action. And the verse says, "For all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth." So it uses the word corrupt 3 times. The question is, how did animals become corrupt? The rabbis understand that the language of all flesh, kol basar, means that the animals also had become corrupted. And so one understanding is that it relates to sexual immorality. That's how Rashi understands it based on the Talmud, that humans started acting in sexually promiscuous ways, and the animals did as well. And one thing that this teaches is that human action or human degenerative action can cause animals to act that way too. On the contrary, Rav Kook, Rabbi Abraham Isaac HaKohen Kook, the first chief rabbi of pre-state Israel, taught that when humans raise our level of spiritual awareness, then animals will do the same, and that we will raise to a higher level of spiritual awareness, and animals will come to live at a level where humans are at currently. I want to also share that we have the ability to protect God's creation, but we also have the ability to destroy it. And so the warning of the story of Noah is that God will destroy the world, but God will not do it again. God makes a promise not to destroy the world again, but God is warning us that we shouldn't do so either. And that's part of the implied message of the rainbow. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 21, it states, "For your part, take of everything that is eaten and store it away to serve as food for you and for them." God commands Noah to bring enough food to store for people and the animals. Rabbi Meir Leibush, the Malbim, taught that, quote, "Don't expect that each animal will bring food for itself in the same way that it hides away food during the summer for the winter months, but rather make sure that you bring all the necessary provisions with you on the ark." So Noah and his family had to store food for all these animals and birds and insects for a whole year that they were on the ark. So this was an incredible responsibility that they had. It's interesting because this past year there were catastrophic fires in Australia, and the eucalyptus forests were devastated. Koalas that survived these catastrophic fires, which were the worst fires in Australia's history, relied on people to provide them food. So that's one way that humans in our time can be stewards even in this era of climate change and these dramatic impacts that are happening as a result of our lifestyles. Genesis chapter 7 verse 23 states, "All existence on earth was blotted out, people, animals, creeping things, and birds of the sky. They were blotted out from the earth. Only Noah was left, and with those with him in the ark." So Nachmanides asks, what happened to the fish? Did the fish survive the flood or not? And Nachmanides suggests that the fish escaped to the depths of the ocean, and they survived while the floodwaters over the earth were boiling and thus unsuitable even for fish life at the surface of the earth. This is based on an understanding that the flood wasn't just water, but it was boiling water. So in our times, scientists have been investigating what's the impact of our plastic consumption in the oceans. And they found that non-biodegradable plastics are even found on the surface of the ocean at great depths. They have found that essentially plastics are lining the bottom of the ocean 6,000 meters deep, and that they're also harmful to sea life, that the sun breaks down the plastics on the surface of the ocean, and fish life, sea life ingests this plastic, and then it enters the food chain, including to people when we eat seafood. According to one study, single-use plastic has now reached the world's deepest ocean trench, which is 11,000 meters deep. By 2050, some scientists estimate that there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. So, and that includes the microplastic that breaks down. So in a sense, we are experiencing a flood of plastics that threatens to blot out sea life, and thus we must transform our planet into an ark to preserve God's creation. However, in our times, we can't make an ark. There's too many people and there's too many species, and we can't go on a spaceship to some faraway planet that we haven't yet discovered. So therefore, making an ark in our times means making a sustainable planet. It means making our lifestyles into an ark, making our lives sustainable, making those of our spiritual communities and our other communities sustainable. That's what it means in our times to make an ark. It means to live sustainably.